Hey, I'm just going to do a quick swamp base tutorial for you here. You can see I'm going to start with, I'm going to fill those gaps. I'm going to fill the gaps with some one-time lightweight filler. This big guy doesn't need anything to fill. Just get a little bit of that filler. If you can see here, I'm just getting the filler in the hole. I'm not trying to get the whole base covered in it. And you can see covers there. One thing on my finger should get all four of these that I need to get done. They had a little bit of sticky tack in them before, so it makes it a bit easier. Okay, so my filler in the middle has dried. I just got my palette out here, and I got a bad paintbrush that was about to fall apart, and I used a bit of electrical tape to put it back together. So what I'm doing here is I'm just picking out an area, mostly covering this middle gap, that the sand will get applied to. The area that the sand is not is what is going to be the swampy water area. So when that's done, get my cup of sand, same sand I use for basing models, terrain boards. Just get it on there, give it a nice shake. Add a rock here or there, it'll stick. A little bit more glue. Yeah, there. Add a bit of glue. Find a rock. Oops. Stick it on. Now that you give it some time to dry, I'm going to come in with my basing brush here, and you can see, oops, I got my Snakebite Leather. So we're just going to come in and base coat the sanded parts. Make sure I'm on camera here. I'm just doing a stippling motion to make sure I get in all the cracks and crevices. Some rocks still may be loose, and don't worry about getting into the area that you're going to make the water. You'll be able to fix that up after everything else dries. Get it done like that. So I got the bases fully base coated, and we're going to let them dry and come back and give them a wash of Devlan mud. So our bases are dry. We're going to come back with our same brush, and now we're going to use some Devlan mud, and we're just going to go back over that same area. Get your mud. Just want a nice dark covering over the whole thing. So we got all the mud on the bases, and we're just going to leave them to dry, and then we'll come back and overbrush some bleached bone onto them. So I let these guys dry overnight. I'm going to take a Citadel small dry brush, and we're going to grab our bleached bone, and I'm going to give these guys an overbrush. So, paint my brush, take it off, wipe off the excess, and we're just going to go over the rocks. Pretty heavy brush. Make sure we're getting everything. Let's see if you can see that. It's not really dark enough or light enough. I'm going to highlight the rocks right now, so a nice overbrush. So I got my overbrush on there. With the overbrush you want to be quick and sporadic, and get something that comes out, if I can get that, like that. So since I was an overbrush and it'll be dry relatively quickly, I'm going to grab my Ultramarines Blue. You can use any relatively dark blue, but for these swamp bases, the way I do them, I like the color combinations of the blue with a green wash. So you're going to grab your basing brush again, and just be careful, doesn't matter about the edge, but not to get so much onto your the dry brushing and overbrushing that you just. So I got all the blue on there. I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back and give it a wash of Thraka green from the Citadel wash line. So these guys are dry now. I'm going to take my Thraka green, same brush, and I'm just going to get a big fat line of it in there. Get a nice dry. You see me doing this? I'm just sticking the green right in there to make it swampy. Hey guys, so everything's dried now. What I need to do is come back with Chaos Black and just touch up around the edges for it just looks nice and clean. I'm using a little bit better brush now, a Citadel brush. There are better brushes than Citadel brushes, but that's all I have right now. And so you can see this. Just want to get the whole edge. Being careful to make it look a little bit nice. So I got all the black done, some nice clean edges. So I got all the painting done that I'm gonna do. Got like that. Just gonna get some white glue in my palette here. A bad paintbrush. I got a small pile of green grass, static grass there. And I'm just gonna pick areas, if you can see this, pick areas on the ground that you want the grass to stick, leaving some of the brown showing through. You just grab a little bit of your pile of static grass here, And there's other ways to apply this, but the simple way is just to dab it on so it covers everything. Wait a sec for it to dry. You want to tap it off in your original pile or whatever you have going on, and then you get something that looks like that. So I ran out of the static grass a bit on this larger one, but after I let the glue dry here a little bit, I'll be coming back and putting more layers of foliage on there to make it more swampy, and I'll be back in a sec. So I've let my guys dry a little bit, and I spread out a few different materials here. I'll just quickly show you what I do. Just grab a base, get large dobs of glue, and just place those large dobs wherever you really want. Going over the static grass, going over everything. It's a second layer on top. You want the things to show through. Then come in with different stuff. I have a coarse ground texture here. You can put in a little bit. You can come in with bushes. A full bush. Hold it down firmly. Couple seconds here. And yeah, let that one dry. You can see it has some elevation, some level. Now I'm going to come in with a 50-50 mix of water glue and seal them for they sit down a little bit. And when that is soaking, I'm going to come in with my leaf mix here, my light leaf and my dark leaf mix, and also a bit of flock, just to give a little bit of highlighting to the different greens I have going on. Once that's all dried and sealed, I come in with a final seal of Army Painter's matte varnish. Army Painter matte varnish down here. And then once all that's done drying, I'll come in and finish off with the water effects. So I come in with my leaf scatter and my flock after these guys have been soaked in a 50-50 water glue mix. I'm going to let this dry overnight, seal it again in the morning, and then I'll come back and film the water effects and we'll be done. So I've got my guys double sealed. They're nice and hard. You can see here. And I just got my Woodland Scenics. Turn this a little bit more. Woodland Scenics water effects, realistic water. I'll be switching to magic water soon, but I just have a few bottles of this left to use. So I just have it in the cap here and a toothpick. So you're just going to take one of the bases and find where the water is. The water is just about here. And you're just going to take your your toothpick, get a bit of the water effect on there, and you'll be able to see it building up in the area that you want it. You want to get a nice little bubble going down because, at least with Woodland Scenics realistic water, it shrinks. That's why I'm changing to I don't know the company, but it's called Magic Water, and the product doesn't shrink. Non-shrinking realistic water effect. So once you have your water tweezed in there, it looks something like that. So I got the water effect poured in all the bases, and I'll just come back when it's dried and show some still pics. So my swamp bases are dry now. You can feel the focus there. You can see the water and the foliage. It's got a little bit of height to it. That one's got water on both sides. And then there's this one.